I don't think India is the only place where it becomes a little more challenging as you grow older. What's happening right now is the collision of two trends. On one hand, in many parts of the world, we're living much longer. 100-year life is within reach for a lot of people. At the same time, we're living in a world that is increasingly very turbulent. And so, for instance, what we see happening right now with big tech companies or startups, you could be a top performer and young or old, it doesn't matter. And suddenly, like musical chairs, the music stops and you don't have a chair. And you shouldn't feel bad about it. This is just the reality of the 21st century. And so my advice is, the faster you strike out on your own, the faster you learn to become independent, the better off you're going to be. And the best time to start is now. It doesn't matter how old you are or how young you are. First of all, the biggest barrier to success turns out to be our own mindset or self-belief. So, what you believe is what you achieve. And so you have to start out with faith in yourself, confidence in the universe, that you're going to figure out whatever your next move is. So that's one thing. The second thing is, it's not always obvious to me or you or anyone else what is out there and what I should be doing next. And so what I advise people is, when you reach this point, what you should do is do lots of micro experiments, try lots of things, okay, and see what works, see what feels enjoyable, what feels at your ikigai, the convergence between what you enjoy doing, what you are good at, and what the world wants. But you can't arrive at that by just sitting in your study and thinking about it, or lying on a beach and contemplating. You have to be out there doing these experiments, building these prototypes, and learn from that. What happens then eventually is you end up with usually not one thing that's your next gig, but rather a portfolio of 2, 3, or 4 things. And each of them gives you something different. So for instance, when I was contemplating leaving Microsoft, which was the last time I was a full-time employee, I had no idea what I wanted to do next, but I started doing these experiments. I started writing, I joined a couple of boards, and then I did a social sector startup. I tried many other things that didn't work out, and eventually I arrived at a portfolio of 4 or 5 things, some of which gave me money, some of which gave me the opportunity to learn, some of which gave me joy, and together they made for a pretty complete picture. So that's what I would advise.